Kate here again, and wanted to talk to you today about a topic that comes up quite a bit with teams around communication, but also around the very favorite topic of conflict. So I want you to think about when your team encounters conflict or a level of tension or a hard conversation, what is the default that your team resorts to? So if we think about conflict on a spectrum, and over here we have what's often called artificial harmony. So this is where you might have a lot of yes men, a lot of yes women, people that don't really want to rock the boat. Maybe you've spoken up once before and got shot down or didn't go well. And so your team has established a rhythm of artificial harmony where lots of people are holding back their opinions, not saying too much. There's probably a lot of meetings after the meetings happening. And so it's not true healthy debate. It's not true where people's voices are being heard because people are just basically going along to get along. On the other side of the spectrum, you have destructive interactions. You may have passive aggressive comments. You may have toxic people who are yelling and shouting. Again, not healthy, but it looks different. And so oftentimes what happens on this side as well is you have the three P's, I call them. The personal attacks might start to happen where people start calling out, well, Joe did this and Sally did this. You have people's pride that often gets in the way, where you have people who have to be right, are so invested in being right that they're not willing to debate the larger issue. And then the third P is personal attacks, pride, and then politics. And this is often where you see cross department conflict interactions happening where it's just everything's a bit political. And so obviously the goal is to live right somewhere in the middle, and there's going to be a back and forth with it. In terms of what does it look like to live in this middle of healthy debate, healthy conflict, that when hard things come up for your team or there feels like tension, everybody's voice can be heard, people can have a healthy dialogue. And the key with this is to have healthy, passionate debate. It doesn't mean that everything's maybe monotone, but people might get a little lively with it. But healthy, passionate, productive debate around an issue of importance. So whereas often when you're on this ends of the spectrum, it becomes about people or it becomes about what I want or what my team wants versus can we really focus on the issue of importance and what's best for the team. And so think about, where does your team often for the majority of time fall on the spectrum? And then what does it look like to potentially move forward a little closer to the middle, and what does that look like? And oftentimes, if you're looking to build healthy debate with your team, it all revolves around trust. What does it look like to build greater connection with your team around having members feel seen, feel heard, feel valuable, giving space for that feedback? So lots of places you could start, but first would just be to measure, where do you feel like your team often falls on the spectrum, and then kind of move from there. So I'd love to hear your thoughts on what you see with your team and any other tips in terms of conflicts that your teams do well or anyone else could learn from. So more to come down the road for more leadership tips. And as always, love to hear from you.